Right now on Denver 7 News, Colorado paying respects today to another fallen officer. The tribute for a Weld County deputy after she was killed in a hit-and-run crash. A downswing on Wall Street to round out the week. The projections for your budget following the Fed's latest interest rate hike. A busy weekend ahead in Colorado's high country as tourists and natives head up to the mountains for fall leaf peeping. But a planned power outage could make it difficult for some businesses to profit off the tourism. How they're preparing to serve in spite of this challenge.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to Denver 7 News. I'm Jessica Crawford. Thank you so much for joining us. We're taking a live look right now outside at downtown Denver. Just a gorgeous day out there. And so right now we are taking it over to meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo with the latest.
And beautiful forecast in store. Like you said, a lot going on this weekend and Mother Nature cooperating. Another shot here from Denver, low 50s right now, clear skies, a lot of sunshine, winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And if you're getting out the door early this morning, we're going to be in the mid 70s by noon, climbing well into the upper 70s to low 80s for highs today. We have Denver at right around 80 to about 82. Boulder, 80, Estes Park 70. In the mountains, dry conditions, lots of sunshine, beautiful colors there right along the I-70 corridor, and 60s and 70s for highs today. We are going to stay dry statewide here for the next few days. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we'll take a closer look at the rest of your weekend forecast, plus that Broncos game forecast for tomorrow night. Jessica?
All right, Lisa, thank you. A 24-year-old woman lost her future all in an instant during a hit-and-run crash just about a week ago. The friends, family, colleagues, and community of Weld County Deputy Alexis Hine-Nunes want to honor her memory today. Denver 7's Christian Lopez is live with the details on the memorial procession this morning in tribute of Deputy Hine-Nunes' life of service.
And Deputy Hine-Nunes was killed just a week before her 25th birthday. Today, the public is invited to pay their respects during that procession route, which will start right here at the Weld County Jail where she worked. Now, that procession will start at 8:45 this morning. It'll start here at the jail, and then it'll make its way to the Foundation's Church in Loveland. Deputy Hine-Nunes was riding her motorcycle to work on Sunday when she was struck and killed by a minivan along Weld County Road 37. She was only about 5 minutes away from the jail where she had worked as a detentions deputy since 2018. The driver, Norberto Garcia Gonzalez, was found and arrested Monday in Fort Collins. We talked to a neighbor, Linda McKee, who lives near that crash site, who was devastated about this tragic passing, but says that she is thankful for all that Deputy Hine-Nunes did for this community.
I know everybody has a lot of respect and support of our police, and we're grateful to them and appreciate them. So, of course, it was really heartbreaking for the community.
And the funeral will be closed to the public, but Foundation's Church will live stream it for anyone who wants to watch it. We're live from Weld County this morning. I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Christian, thank you. The amended autopsy report for Elijah McClain has been newly released, now with an official cause of death. The forensic pathology consultant who signed off on the report says, quote, "I believe that Mr. McClain would most likely be alive but for the administration of ketamine," end quote. This comes 3 years after the original report listed his cause of death as undetermined. Denver 7 investigative reporter Jennifer Kowaleski is taking an in-depth look at what this updated report means for the case and what stands out to legal experts.
Well, first of all, this new autopsy will be a critical piece of evidence moving forward. Some of the big changes were with ketamine. The report now says McClain would most likely be alive if he wasn't injected with the sedative. But it also found no evidence the officers who detained him played a role in his death. And legal experts we talked to say the changes could actually help their defense.
Your favorite, stop right there.
Elijah McClain was just a young man on his way home from a convenience store when someone called 911 saying he looked sketchy and was wearing a ski mask.
Stop. I have a right to stop you because you're being suspicious. Stop. Relax. Stop. I'm going home.
Aurora police officers put him in a carotid hold.
So when the ambulance gets here, we're going to go ahead and give him some ketamine.
Minutes later, paramedics inject him with the powerful sedative ketamine. His death would spark outrage across the country. Those voices would help lead a grand jury to indict 3 Aurora police officers and 2 paramedics. And at the center is now this amended autopsy report. McClain's original autopsy ruled his death undetermined. In the amended autopsy just made public, the coroner changed the cause of death to complications of ketamine administered following forcible restraint. But the pathologist wrote in the new opinion that he has seen no evidence that injuries inflicted by the police contributed to death. And while it now acknowledges paramedics gave McClain too much ketamine for his weight, and he did overdose, the amount was still within therapeutic ranges.
I think that these reports certainly help the police officers, if not exonerate the police officers, but I think they also help the paramedics that are charged in this case. They're not giving him too much, but it was too much for him.
Mitch Morrissey is a veteran prosecutor and a former Denver district attorney.
That's where this kind of changes from something that helped the prosecutor to seriously hurting the prosecutor.
He says the amended autopsy likely helped the prosecution get a grand jury to indict because they only needed to prove probable cause, but believes the new autopsy could become a problem for prosecutors at trial.
I think they're going to have real problems then getting to the beyond a reasonable doubt hurdle, and that's where these documents become a weapon for the defense.
Morrissey says he thinks this will come down to a battle of medical experts at trial. We did reach out to Elijah McClain's mom, Shanine McClain. Her attorney told us they are not commenting. I'm Denver 7 investigative reporter Jennifer Kovaleski.
There was controversy surrounding the original autopsy because Aurora police reportedly met with the coroner before it was released. The coroner who signed off on the cause of death in the original autopsy is not a medical doctor. She's an elected official. The person who signed the most recent opinion, otherwise known as the autopsy report, is a forensic pathology consultant. Right now on Denver7.com, you can find an interactive timeline of the Elijah McClain case, as well as other in-depth coverage and breakdowns of what we know now. A 20-year-old Greeley woman is still in the hospital this morning after a train crashed into a police cruiser with her handcuffed inside. Newly released video capturing the moment on camera. You can see it here. This happened last Friday after police detained Yerini Rios Gonzalez in connection to a road rage incident. The edited video now made public, raising questions about why the squad unit was parked on the train tracks in the first place and why officers didn't react enough to get the woman out in time. Train horns can be heard just a minute after Rios Gonzalez is placed in the squad car's back seat, and over the next 15 seconds the horns become louder before officers finally react. But the train slams into the squad car, leaving Rios Gonzalez seriously injured. Her attorney tells Denver 7 that she saw the train and tried to alert the police.
The most alarming thing for me is that you can hear the train coming. And it's at nighttime and the train has lights also. So you can both hear and see the train coming.
Her attorney says they are planning to sue Platteville police. We reached out to the department for answers, but so far we've gotten no response. A brutal end to the week on Wall Street, with the Dow sinking to its lowest point since 2020. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P, they were all down by more than 1.5% at the closing bell. Investors losing confidence as inflation remains at a record high and worries over a recession loom. This comes after the Federal Reserve raised interest hikes earlier this week by 0.75%, and now new projections show the Fed is expecting unemployment to rise. Analysts say the central bank is expecting the rate to rise from 3.7% in August to as high as 5% next year. And if those projections hold up, it would mean between 1 and 2 million Americans could lose their jobs. But oil prices dropping to below $80 per barrel this morning, the lowest they've been since January, which could mean you could start paying even less at the pump. AAA saying Coloradans are paying an average of $3.68 for a gallon of regular gas. That's down 21 cents from 1 month ago, but up $0.50 from a year ago. But this also signals investors may be concerned about where the economy is headed. A scheduled power outage is expected for Xcel Energy customers this weekend in an area that visitors expect to go leaf peeping. This peep, the peaking leaf colors. Xcel says it will impact some communities in Jefferson County today. And that includes the small town of Indian Hills. As Denver 7 CB Cotton is finding out, that outage couldn't have come at a worse time for local businesses that are depending on this weekend.
We gear up. We gear up with staff. We gear up with inventory.
Gearing up because Kiki Frisbee's restaurant, Mac Nation Cafe, is located en route to one of Colorado's prime leaf peeping spots.
Last year, this weekend was one of our busiest weekends of the entire year. So this is huge for us. We can't, we have to anticipate a big Saturday and Sunday this weekend.
Her anticipation was almost overshadowed by doubt after she says she received this voicemail around 4 Wednesday afternoon.
To complete this work safely, we will need to interrupt electric service to your area.
A voicemail from Xcel Energy saying to complete maintenance on power lines, there'd be an outage this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Xcel Energy confirmed to Denver 7 the outage would affect Kittredge, Evergreen, Morrison, and the Indian Hills area.
I pretty much panicked because we gear up and we do the inventory and we prep and we bring staff on. It affects a lot of people, all our staff.
Xcel told Denver 7 the maintenance was scheduled for Saturday because it's when crews were available. And Frisbee says she appreciates those efforts, but Wednesday afternoon, she began some of her own.
So I started calling around. I started calling the Chamber of Commerce. I started calling other businesses in the area. And I kept calling Xcel. I got on Instagram. My husband got on Facebook.
Come Thursday afternoon, Xcel had offered to provide her restaurant with a generator.
I'm anticipating, they said they would send an electrician and hook it up to the board. I'm anticipating we should not have any trouble, but I'm very anxious about it because if it doesn't work, we're back to square one. I would have appreciated them saying that at the get-go.
CB Cotton, Denver 7.
The East Coast feeling the effects of Hurricane Fiona moving north, but now the new extreme weather targeting another part of the country this morning.